Hey everybody, welcome back to the Forge. Got another knife to show you this evening. So this is kind of a nice little utility, everyday carry, even bushcraft style blade. Let me show it to you here. What we've got here is 1095 high carbon steel. It's differentially heat treated. That means it's softer on the spine, harder on the edge, and it's got a convex grind. All these things come together to make this edge really durable, but also very sharp and very acute. It will cut in and bite through material really quickly. Notice that this does not take a lot of effort, and this will cut all the way up to the tip. So a lot of knives you see, they're not gonna cut very well right there at the tip, but this one does. And that's super important because a lot of your cutting takes place right here at the tip. So why is that the case? Well, one really important reason is notice that taper there. You need to have a reduction in spine width when you have a reduction in blade width to keep a good, consistent cutting angle. Picture your cutting angle like this, that's nice and sharp, but as you get closer to the tip of the knife, if you don't reduce the width of the spine and yet you are reducing the width of the knife, you're gonna end up with a steep cutting angle like that, and that's not gonna cut stuff. So you wanna reduce the width of the spine to keep that nice cutting angle. That's gonna get a good cut at the tip there. So, a little distracted there, but that's an important thing to understand. It's one of those small details amongst many others that I'm gonna be putting into all my knives here because I want them to cut really, really well and serve you really well. Let's get back to the blade shape though and design. This is kind of a drop point knife, as you'll see, not quite spear point, but almost. That's just a great place to have the point for all sorts of utility tasks, whether it's cutting your food, cutting a deer, or skinning a rabbit, or something like that. It's nice to have the tip there. You can put your finger nice and close, and it's almost like a sharpened finger at that point. If you've used a knife like this before, you'll know what I'm talking about. It just works really nice for all sorts of things, but it also keeps that point fairly centered, so it's nice for going through your milk jugs, going through your cardboard, whatever you're doing with it. It's also nice and sturdy there. When you've got that tip in the center and you've got some nice beef behind it, you can really get some abuse into that tip and not be afraid of bending, breaking, or damaging it in any way. So there's another nice part of that tip. You can use it precisely, but you can also use it like a bulldozer. Notice this is kind of a wider blade too. You gotta love wider blades because a wide blade just means nice, deep cuts. This is pathetic. I don't have a lot of paper, but there, it just slides right through it. But if you're using this for food, cheese, summer sausage, bread, steak, whatever, you're gonna notice the width of that blade really helps you. A blade like this here, it's great, but look, it's not very wide. And it's got that full flat grind, which is one of the reasons I like it, a nice acute point, but it's not wide enough to get the really deep shearing cutting capability of this. And when it comes to things like woodwork or bushcraft, that thinner blade just isn't gonna do it. So it's nice for basic things, but for, again, food, bushcraft, cutting anything kind of more like that, you're gonna want a wider blade. And you also get that thicker spine, which is great. You can baton with this easily. You could, baton through a car door with this if you needed to. It's very, very durable. While we're speaking about durability, let me take this and just show you. This can just whittle through the edge of that steel. So I'm gonna push it through the steel there. And you can see it cut off a piece of steel there. But the edge is just still fine. I mean, it's just perfectly intact. No dings to it or anything like that. Still slices nice and clean. So didn't even ding that edge. And that's one of the other great things about having a handmade knife is a lot of attention goes into the heat treat. This wasn't just thrown in with 60 other knives. This is just me and this knife for a long time together, and I'm really focusing on everything I do, especially that heat treat. I want to get that just right. And these knives, they can baton through And I got another video of this if you want to check it out on my page, but I baton through this steel with these knives. So they can stand up to a lot of abuse, but they can also cut really well also. All right, what on our handle here? Well, it's an Osage orange handle. It's burnt Osage, which kind of makes it look super cool. I don't know if you can see it well. Let me try to throw a little light on it. Isn't that neat? Yeah, the sapwood kind of burns, and it's really hard to see. The sapwood burns and the hardwood just kind of darkens, and you get something nice like that. Notice also the contouring kind of Coke bottle there, just really comfortable. We also have some decorative jimping and some functional jimping right there. So this ends up feeling great in the hand. Got a little thumb ramp there. The blade kind of widens out from the handle, which I like. It just kind of is a cool look. Just decided to do that while I was forging it, and I like the way it looks there. But that, plus the swelling of the middle right there, makes this just a super comfortable knife to have and to use. So there you go. It'd be great for bushcraft, great for everyday stuff, and great for food preparation, and just a good beater knife if you wanted to have one. Now, how about the sheath? Well, this is one of the horizontal mounting sheaths, which is just absolutely the way to go. This can go under a shirt easily, and you get it out really easily. If you notice how a person moves, things bend like this, and like this, and like this. See, we kind of fold up like that. We don't go like this, we go like this. And when you have a sheath, like this one, that's up and down, well, that's gonna impede some motion. So if I do this, right, I'm bending like that, but now I sit down, that's gonna poke into something. Now I just turn this one side to side. But if I'm bending like this, or like this, you can get poked into things that are like up and down on you. That's why having something side to side makes so much sense, because it fits in the crease, I don't know what else to call it, sorry, of how your body moves. So it's very, very comfortable. It doesn't get in the way. You can move around a lot with it. And it's always right there. It doesn't shake, right? Because it's centered on you and your core. You're kind of keeping still. Even when you're moving, your core doesn't shake a lot. The outer limbs move, but the inside part stays pretty still. And it goes on the belt very easily. These sheaths are beeswaxed. And it's hand cut, hand stitched, hand dyed, hand oiled, and beeswaxed, also by hand, or by a brush. But what that beeswax does is it gives it this nice grip. So the blade isn't gonna fall out, get out when you want it, and you put it back, you almost get a Kydex-like click. Listen up. Look at that, wow. Okay, so there's your sheath. Custom made for the knife. These things aren't coming off of assembly lines. They're not getting ground out of a big billet. They're being forged, each one handmade individually. I can do ones like this, but I can never do this one again because it was hand forged, totally organically made. So it's one of a kind. But if you like it and want something like it, I can make one very, very, very similar for you. So that's it then, the overview on this great kind of everyday bushcraft EDC knife. What a cool pair that is. I mean, think about that. Here. Look at that. Imagine walking around with these things as your EDC kit. How cool would that be? That just works really well. So again, I'll make you another one of these. I think right now this is going for something like $300 or so. But you'd have to ask, because maybe you see this in the year 2030 and inflation's gone nuts, and $300 now ends up being like $600 then. So call me. Well, don't call me. Contact me in whatever way you can. Thank you for watching. Thank you for stopping by. If you want to hit the like button, that'd be great. Maybe some comments would be awesome. I'd like to engage with you there. Please subscribe if you would, because I'm trying to put out a good amount of videos here. Knives I've done, and some more things coming up. Share the video with some of your friends who also like knives, maybe a hand forged thing, and feel free to contact me if you want something custom handmade for you. Again, you do something kind of cool and utilitarian like this, or you can do kind of something more fancy and combat oriented like the accipiter. That's it. Appreciate watching. Don't forget to check me out at Marsfire Forge on Instagram. Got all pictures there of all the stuff I've done. All right, everybody. Thanks so much.